Hello everybody, it's time for a weekend project. So I saw this girl that I follow on Instagram do a little video. Her name is Snitchery. I'll put her info down below. If you don't know about her, go follow her. Her makeup, amazing. She's gorgeous as well. But we are going to be making some little terrariums. And I have these little things that I'm gonna be using. I have a couple of them and I've had these like all around the house. This one I actually used for a candle in the inside, and it got covered in soot. So I decided that since I've been getting into gardening and planting a lot, to make these super cute little mini terrariums. And I looked up a bunch of photos online. I made a little Pinterest board, and you know, I'll make that available for you guys if you want to go get inspired. I'll put my Pinterest down below. I don't really use it too much, but only just for myself when I'm doing projects. So yeah, if you want to get inspired, go ahead and check that out. But I'm going to be using some crystals in mine because I have a ton of crystals. So we're going to do a mixture of plants, moss, and crystals and rocks. And also I got these cute little things. I've had them for a really long time. And you know what? I'm just going to add these in there too. We're just going to make cute little fairy terrariums. So, okay, let's go ahead and set up. That's enough talking. Let's do the DIY.
All right, make sure you got a nice big workspace for yourself right here and grab one of your little containers. I'm gonna start off with using this one. And then we're going to fill the bottom with some rocks. I'm using these decorative rocks that I had. So the reason why we're putting rocks at the bottom is so that there is good drainage and that the plant is not sitting in water. So we're gonna just layer the bottom with some rocks. So move your rocks around. I'm kind of doing mine at a little slant because I want this terrarium to have an angle. Next, I'm just grabbing some potting mix and I'm going to add this on top of the rocks. I've seen a bunch of people do this differently where they add mesh or carbon, and I didn't have any of that stuff. So I just decided to see how this works with just soil. So I am patting down the soil, making sure to compact it and give it that little slant that I'm looking for. And then next up, I'm going to start getting my moss ready. So I ordered this living moss off of Amazon, but there's a bunch of different types of moss that you can use. So before you put in the moss, make sure to soak it in water and then place it right on top of your soil. So I will say that be very careful when using the moss. If you're not wearing gloves, your nails will turn green. So I looked like a little garden witch and I was okay with it. So just roughly lay out your moss where you want it to be. And now I'm going to grab my plant. For this project, I'm using a nerve plant, also known as the Fittonia. So this plant does really well in humidity. I've had this plant for a while. I've actually ordered it on Amazon and it hasn't really been doing well in its pot. So I am going to separate the roots from this plant so I can get little smaller chunks. So just being very, very careful with the roots, kind of working through the soil and separating the plants so that I can place them individually in the terrarium. So once I have them separated, I have already dug a little hole in this terrarium and I'm just placing the plant right inside that hole, adding more soil where it's needed and kind of compacting it down so it's nice and stable. Then I'm just going to place in some crystals. I also decided to place in more rocks to kind of make a cute little path and to stop the water from coming out from the front. And then I am adding a bunch of crystals in here. This is just a collection of crystals that I have that don't really have a home in my house. They're just in a pouch. And so I thought, you know what, why not? Let's just decorate the little terrarium with all these crystals. So I'm switching out some of the crystals and kind of adding height here. And I've created this super gorgeous little terrarium. So I wanted to show you the next. So the next terrarium is the same steps. I just wanted to show you a different variation of how I decorated it. Still adding in the rocks, adding in the soil, compacting it down, and adding in some moss. Adding in this little mushroom that I have, and then I am adding in the plant. So I found that adding the moss over the plant doesn't really work, so I would suggest adding your plant before adding the moss, and then kind of adding the moss around that for some extra support. So this is a larger plant that I'm adding in. Its root system is a little bit larger, and so I am giving it some more soil and kind of slanting this area upwards so that the roots can spread out more. And then I'm also adding a smaller little plant right down here. and then just topping it off with the crystals. So I was able to make these 2 terrariums within 1 hour. These do not take a lot of time to make, and I absolutely love the way that they look. This is how they look the next day. I gave them a nice little spritz to keep them moist. And I decided to place them next to this window where they will not get direct sunlight, but they will get filtered light because the nerve plants do not like direct sunlight. But I love the way that they look. They look so whimsical and magical. I'm also going to leave these crystals in here because some of the crystals actually benefit the plants, and I just love how magical these little terrariums look. And I think these terrariums are great if you have pets that nibble on plants because now your pets can't get them. I'll definitely be making more of these terrariums in the future, so make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Turn on notifications, make sure the bell is completely gray. Check out some more DIY videos that I have done here, and I hope you all love this video and try to make one yourself. I'll see you all later. Bye!